Hopefully we can't hear the crying. Okay. This is recording.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This one is not.
It's okay.
I might have
Should we wait for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the live supposed to be like raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
So they can hear
'Cause
the
it's live.
screaming child.
Yeah. We could. Let's see. Let me. Let me text my friend.
It's kind of fitting for what we're about to talk about, isn't it?
In a dark
Right?
way.
In a dark way. I mean, obviously nothing's going to happen, but like screaming child, what she did. Oh, I'm on my wrong note page.
Okay, one person. Who's in here? Can you type in the chat? Because we can't see. Rita? Is it
How
you?
do you know? Oh, I see.
It says
Yeah,
one,
That's cool.
but it doesn't show us who it is. We're about to start recording we're doing okay, is that working? We're getting ready to record our first podcast, and we're also live on YouTube while we're recording. I gotta call Frida. Get my hello.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Frida? Frida, are you in there? Can you check it? Because I had to shut it down. It's just showing one person, but it won't show me who it is. I had to close that one down because it wouldn't let me click live. Okay. Are you in? Did you see me rap, Frida? Oh, we're not doing that one yet. She said we don't have on our shirts.
Oh.
Okay. I don't see you in there.
Is that the one?
No, she just joined. All right.
So weird.
Apparently we're famous. There's more than you. I wonder why it's not registering. Okay. All right. We're about to start. All right. Love, bye.
We should have asked her if she can hear Connor.
Oh, shoot. Hey, you got whoever's in here. Can you guys hear the baby crying in the back? Hey, can you hear the baby crying? Okay. All right. Thanks. Love you. Bye. Okay, so I have TikTok. All right. Hang on.
Should we?
So that is live. She doesn't hear him crying.
Okay, good. Good.
Okay. Oh, wow. No. Not downward. The face.
No, I was just trying to turn it. Tilt it. Okay.
I want to,
Hold on. Let's see if it comes up more.
yeah. Just not down on the old face. Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah. There we go.
We have our blinkies. Oh no, you're way over.
It's throwing me off because it's mirrored.
No, it's just can barely see you.
No, the opposite, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one. All right. Okay. Oh Lordy.
Right.
Here's all my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 20 pages.
Are you from South Carolina? Because are
I'm
you getting into character?
Yes,
I
me and
love it.
Frida have a southern accent. Would be. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Are we ready to record?
Yeah. I think we're ready to record. What's the
Okay.
name of our podcast?
Women Who Kill.
No.
Oh. Unraveling the mind.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Who's in here? Frida. Cassidy, are you here? She said she was going to come in. All right, let's roll.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right. So, welcome to the first episode
Yes.
of
welcome.
Unraveling the Mind.
Yep. And we're doing Susan Smith. How old were you in this? So this was October 25th, 1994. So you were
6 years old.
6. Do you remember it?
No.
Why? That's bullshit. What I found interesting.
Do you remember it?
I do.
Yeah.
I think this was, for my generation, one of the, that I can think of, one of the first women who killed their kids. Like that was big public.
Oh, okay.
94. So I don't know how old I was. But what's interesting, the date that she killed her kids is October 25th. So it's almost the anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know. And I must tell you, during my deep dive yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stop crying.
Going over my notes today, I'm going to start crying now talking about it. Because I don't know if it's because my kid's being little. I don't know.
That age, yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Like when they reenacted the courtroom. Ooh. I mean, when the court trial reenacted the scene, which we'll talk about, it was just like,
yeah,
you have to just be so evil. Because she didn't have postpartum.
right. But that's the defense. Well, it's okay. Let's give
let's start.
The start. Yeah.
Okay.
So it happened October 25th, 94.
Yeah.
In South Carolina.
Yeah.
Right.
A city called Union, which was super small and religious.
Okay. So she was married to David Smith, right?
Yeah.
They had 2 sons.
And let's do like
Her history.
Yeah. So she was born September 26th of 71. Which is actually that's actually when I was born. So I was born in 71. She was 22 years old.
I thought you were going to say on the same birthday, even though I know your birthday is in September. That got me for a second. Okay.
Yeah. She was 22 and then married David in 91. They were married for 4 years. They had 2 kids, Alex and Michael. And then where do you want to go? Michael was 3 when she killed him, and Alex was 14 months old.
Yeah. So something, and I don't know if you want to go into that now, something interesting about her past. Her dad died by suicide.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was 6 years old when he killed himself. And then I couldn't find, and then the mom remarried a guy. His name was Creeper McGee. And
the official name.
Yeah, he came forward and said that he sexually abused her from age 15 until
a couple months before she killed her kids, right?
Yeah, until she was 22 years old. And so mitigating circumstances, which I feel like, well, they did try to bring that into the trial.
Right.
So let's go to the crime. Let's
Okay.
do the crime.
Okay.
So Susan calls the police. So she runs to a neighbor's house, or the closest house to the lake. And okay, let's just back it all the way. She goes to work October 25th.
Right.
She leaves work around 3 p.m., goes to the daycare, picks up the kids, goes to the bar. Now, I couldn't find, did she go in the bar and leave the kids while she was talking to her friend?
I don't know.
Or was she sitting? Did they have cell phones on? Because it said she was talking to a friend at the bar. So, like, if anyone knows, drop it anywhere in the comments. Send it to us. Like, did she leave the kids in the car while she went in to talk to her friend?
Right, because that's going to add on to
Right.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Then she said she went to Walmart. They verified later, Walmart greeters, apparently the town is so small that they could say, did you see Susan Smith, this person? The greeter said, I don't remember ever seeing her.
Right.
She said she went to Walmart. Then she went home, made the kids pizza, then put them in the car. She said she needed to go for a drive because she was upset that the guy she was having an affair with, the owner.
Tom Finlay.
Yeah.
Finlay. I don't know if that's
something.
how you say it. Yeah.
Is that Finley Cars?
I
It was like a fabric company
can't. Okay.
of some sort, and he
Yeah.
was the owner's son. So she goes back to the office to try to talk to him. He's gone, or no, is that right? Then she goes for the drive. She
Mhm.
says, I need to clear my head because he wouldn't date her anymore
Right.
because,
The kids were an obstacle, I think is what the
Yeah.
letter said, right?
yeah, because I always was told he said, I don't want to raise another man's kids, but they showed the letter. He
Right.
said, I don't want kids,
Right.
period.
Right. And they're the obstacle. So
Yeah.
like that's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then she says she goes for a drive.
Mhm.
And while she's driving, she's at a stoplight, and a black man specifically,
Mhm.
at gunpoint,
Right.
like comes up to the car, gets in the car, makes her drive for like 10 minutes, and then tells her, get out of the car, and drives off with the
Can you
kids.
imagine like fabricating that story? Like, I don't know.
The whole, and
Okay.
so
Yeah.
then she appears at a house
Mhm.
closest to the lake, or
Right.
somewhere right around the lake, Lake John. And where was this in?
South Carolina.
Yeah, oh yeah, Union, South Carolina. I think it was called Lake John something. And bangs on the door and says, like,
Right.
help, someone, you know.
And tells this whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I heard the 911 call. The man of the home, I don't know if there was a wife, is saying, like, he sounds like the
Frantic.
guy, the guy has the kids in the car, and he told her to get out, and he didn't have time to take the kids out. Like,
Yeah.
who says that? Like,
Right.
I'm too busy.
Right.
I'm gonna
Too
need
busy
these-
stealing your car.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
gonna have
go.
to take the kids.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
So he takes
Oh,
off with the car, the kids, and
That's
And
the story.
there it
Right.
goes.
Like
and then we all know, for fun, not fun, but to anybody who's older, I do have this video saved. This was like, I think, the most well-known one. I'm going to play it from TikTok.
Your mama loves you so much, and your daddy and his whole families love you so much. And you guys have got to be strong.
Susan and David Smith of Union, South Carolina, appear on local TV to appeal for the safe return of their two missing children.
And so this was her getting
And 14-month-old
everyone. There was so
Mhm.
much
Yeah.
sympathy, and
yeah.
like they got the FBI involved. They got their local. They had all the local volunteers, search teams, everyone.
Everything.
And she rode this out.
9 days, right? 9
9
days
days.
later.
Day 2, they do a polygraph.
Mm-hmm. Because her story wasn't adding up, right? Wasn't it something about if another car in fact came up, it would have triggered the light, right? Like something
The
like
other
yeah.
light. I didn't
So-
totally. My brain was not computing.
I mean, I'm not an expert at
You
all
are.
in traffic lights.
You kind of
but-
are. I mean, I know a lot.
I know a lot about them. It's just a hobby I have, you know. But
Spare time traffic light.
yeah, investigator.
Yeah.
You know, don't you ever get irritated that they take a long time? I think you pull up, right? There's a sensor
Yeah.
that then knows there's other traffic. So
Yeah.
to change the light is what I'm assuming. Because the way it was explained was if another car in fact did pull up, where she's saying she was waiting at a red light, like wouldn't have happened or something.
Yeah.
Right. So they started to notice some discrepancies.
Yeah, because remember, this is 94. They didn't have the cameras on the
Correct.
lights, all the
So
things.
just the sensors, right? So
Yeah.
your basic car pulls up, it should change. So they're starting to notice like,
Yeah, and
like,
then
this is
yeah.
a little strange.
she said she was on her way to a friend's house, and
Yes.
they found out that friend wasn't even home.
Right.
And then day 2, they do a polygraph,
Mm.
and she fails, which I don't know. So, but it still continued. Police
Right.
were suspicious, just kind of like I was watching. They have to, investigate the crime, but then
Right.
secondarily, simultaneously investigate the
Yeah.
mom
Right.
too.
And anybody else, probably mom, dad, because at the time they don't know
Yeah,
like any of that. I don't know where he was, maybe at work. He wasn't there.
I believe he was at work because it said he came home immediately
Okay.
and had to pick her up
Yes. Okay.
off the ground because she would put on her crying act, and she was so distraught. He had to carry her big ass I mean, she's not big, but like, get up,
Yeah.
you evil
Yeah.
sack of flesh.
Well, because then to find out like
you
you did it, so you
crook.
acted like,
And when I watched the footage on I remember her being on the news and like, you could feel the pain, but it was all fake. So
is that manipulation.
yeah. Oh,
Somebody asked, is that her? Oh, in the video, yeah.
oh yeah, that was
was her.
Susan Smith. Sorry if I didn't say that.
Yeah.
That was the video that was like pretty notorious for when she came forward and said her plea for help.
Right.
Okay, so they do the poly,
Fails.
still they're not letting the public know that they think she could be involved. 9 days later, they're like crunching on her too.
Right.
Let me just check because that's after. I just kind of want to see. Okay. So 9 days later, hang on.
She confesses to the murders, admitting that she drowned them.
Mhm.
But she drove the car into, which I guess, I mean, that goes into her story, right? Of that she was carjacked, right? That like they took the car, but like, can you imagine?
So she did she didn't go to Walmart. She was not really on her way to her friends. She did actually go to the bar, supposedly. I don't know if she went in or not. She did take the kids to the lake and she went on a boat ramp. And she said 2 times she stopped, like was going to do it, then stopped, then did it. So that was how they deemed like premeditation, because she could have stopped.
Right. And did.
And also how she was completely eliminated from like guilty by reason of insanity, because you know the difference between what right or wrong at the time of the crime. And 2 times and then just put in like they're awake.
Yeah.
And just put the car in drive and just got out. And then in court, the attorneys, so they reenacted it. The judge, when the trial was coming, the judge issued a gag order. So that was, I didn't even know that was a thing then. He also issued no cameras in the court. So we did get clips, and there are clips of the reenactment of the car scene. So what the prosecutors did is they put a camera by the boat ramp to show a car going in, and then they put a camera in the back seat where the car seats would have been, and then they let a car sink, and the jury watched it. And that was where I like lost it. 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Oh my God.
6 full minutes it took. And when the divers went to get them, like the 3-year-old's hand was on the window.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And then this bitch had the fucking gall to come to the wake. She went to the wake. How did anybody let her walk out or ever again?
Yeah.
She went to the wake.
And to put that act out, like, I understand you can do that, and maybe, I don't know if I can understand that actually. Like how you could do something like that yet still love your children. Like, is that what she was trying to show? Like,
I don't know.
You just drown them alive.
Right. And what, like, did she stand there and watch it? And then she went running immediately and faked it. And like, how? And she also, I mean, I don't know how you could get a car to open. She could have still, it took that long. She could have still
tried to do something, get them out.
Call the police, get them there, get it out.
Absolutely. Anything.
Because
she held up the act though for 9 days. So it's not like she ran to this closest house and said, oh my God, I just did this horrible thing.
Yeah. I changed my mind. I'm crazy.
Right. Like I'm losing it. Like, I don't know what happened. Cause I think she said at one point that wasn't me. Like I like had him, it was her, but like she said, like, I don't know what was going on. I wasn't feeling like me. So basically like mental health stuff. But if that was true, like when you ran to go get help, wouldn't you have said
At any point, you had so much time.
Yeah.
And then she also said she was suicide. So one of the lies, who knows what is true, is she she was going to kill herself because of a guy.
Right.
And
because of this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
The boyfriend.
Tom.
She didn't want her kids to be raised without a mother. So that was her motive. But then, forgot to kill herself and didn't even attempt. So
I don't want my kids to be raised without a mom, so I'm going to kill them instead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. How about let anyone in the world raise them?
Well, and that's so okay, first, what did they say she was diagnosed with?
Adjustment disorder.
Oh, so I saw dependent personality disorder listed like 10 times. Did you not see that? And I was like, is that even a diagnosis?
No.
No, it was listed.
That's not a diagnosis. I had adjustment disorder.
And major depression.
I only had adjustment disorder. Really? But now, mind you, when she was, going psychologically, so she was 600.
Untangle the mind.
Untangle it.
Or unravel it. What are we?
I don't.
Okay.
We don't know the name of our podcast.
That's fine.
It's okay.
We're changed it too many times. So it doesn't matter.
Her dad killed himself. And then why did he kill himself? I couldn't find anything on her background.
Like, was it depression? Like what was going on? Yeah,
no clue.
Don't know.
And then how did the mom handle that?
Right. And she had Susan had 2 suicide attempts, 13, and then after high school, like right 18. When she graduated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when did the pedophile stepdad come into the picture? I couldn't find that either.
I thought I saw that somewhere.
Because I think
I didn't write the
he
date.
started molesting her at 15, but when did he come in? Did he come in at 15? And what was she doing from age 6 to 15?
Right.
If anybody knows, tell us. Roxy, hi. Thanks for joining. So if anybody knows where Susan was from why the dad killed himself, what happened to the mom, like how did she handle finances and mental health after her husband killed himself at age 6? And then, when Susan was 6.
Right.
6 to 15, when did the pedophile stepdad come in?
Right. Because all of this, creates this, not that anything she did is excusable, in my opinion, forgivable, like any of that.
Yeah.
But, when we talk about breaking down, like the psychological side of it, genetics play a role.
Yeah.
Your early childhood, like all of that. So kind of knowing, having your dad die by suicide when you're 6 is traumatic. What was the response?
Right.
Like, did stepdad come right in? Like, what was, and then he's molesting you? I don't know. Like, right. So,
yeah.
What kind of picture?
Yeah. And then when your parent dies by suicide, you have a double chance of, the same thing happening.
Right.
However, she killed her kids instead of herself. So then 15, stepdad starts molesting her. I can't remember. I think the mom knew, because didn't they go to counseling? I might be making that up and blending it with a client story. Yeah. But so she graduates high school. She was voted friendliest in her class. She was on the honor roll. And that is, for a kid who's being molested at home, lost their dad, I'm guessing there was a lot going on at home mentally.
Right.
That's kind of interesting, very intense ability to compartmentalize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so then she, at 18, starts working at, where was it? Was she waitressing? I can't remember. I have it written here. My notes aren't really serving much of a purpose right now. And then she has her first suicide attempt.
Right.
Right. Yeah. 16?
No.
15.
The 13 years old was her first.
13.
Second
and they put
was
her. Okay.
Yeah.
She was in the psych hospital. So she had to have more of a diagnosis than adjustment disorder.
Yes. Yeah.
because you will not get that diagnosis if you try to kill yourself. And I don't know, what did she do to try to kill herself?
I didn't see that
Me
anywhere.
either, but that
Yeah.
for us would be important. Like, did
Right.
you
Try
do
and
what you
drown
did when you
yourself.
killed your kids, which is nothing?
Right. Just
Like,
think
what did
about
you
it.
do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So then what'd you have
What do you mean?
after that? So she tries to kill herself at 18.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up to see what the actual since we have different diagnoses listed. I'm trying to see. Yeah, see, look, dependent personality disorder came up again. That's not a diagnosis. And
No.
what they kept saying, now I'm talking diagnosis through the trial. I'm not talking diagnosis like when she was
In
18.
life? Oh, and
Yeah.
why didn't she have a diagnosis of PTSD? From her dad killing himself, from
Being
being
sexually
raped
abused,
by her
like
dad until her stepdad
Stepdad.
until 3 weeks or 3 months before she
it said,
murdered her
I
kids?
saw months is what I saw. I didn't see weeks.
It was like
3
3
months.
months.
Mm-hmm.
So the stepdad was still molesting her until she was 22 years old. Like, can we, if you're
And
gonna,
she was dating somebody while she was still married, and she was.
they were separated a few times, is what I
Okay.
saw.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they got married young, and they got married in 91. They separated a few times.
Right.
And then she was dating the son of this tycoon guy
Mm.
of the fabric company.
Right.
And yeah. So then, okay, so she, let's see. So she gets a public defender appointed to her, who was Judy Clark, who
Yeah.
also represented the Unabomber and the Boston Marathon bomber. And then her stepdad, the creep, pays for a death penalty because she was up for the death penalty.
Right. Right.
And he paid for a private defense attorney.
Yeah.
And she did not get death. So the whole point of us doing this right now is her
Mhm.
parole. She is up for parole for the first time. It's
November 4th.
I could not find the date.
Oh yeah,
You
eligible.
found it?
Yeah, eligible for parole November 4th, 2024.
And today is what?
Good
I
question.
don't know.
September 29th.
So in 5 days.
No, November.
Oh, November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So soon, right? A month and 6 weeks or so.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Sarah Boone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So she will be up for parole. First time she did, they said not until 30 years.
Yeah.
While in prison, did you see
Mhm,
some of her
mhm.
behavior?
Mm-hmm. 2 guards had sexual relationships with 2 guards, right?
Yeah, she had sex with 2 correctional officers in the year of 2000.
Oh yeah, correctional officers. Why am I calling them guards?
Because you're old. She had sex with 2 correctional officers. One was a captain. One was a lieutenant. They both got fired. One of them went to jail for 3 months. The other one got 5 years probation. So they are in charge of themselves, but she took part in
Right.
destroying more lives,
Right.
being who she is. She also got charged with using drugs, which was marijuana, but then it said inhalant on it. It said marijuana / inhalant. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And for self-mutilation.
Yes.
So what does that tell us? Her diagnosis is leading into,
My head immediately goes borderline.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
the sexual abuse,
Yep.
the borderline,
The
fear
impulsive,
of
the self-harming,
abandonment,
the suicidal
the
ideation,
sexual
that's it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, like
Mhm.
BPD.
Yeah.
BPD,
Yeah.
which is more fitting for than
Yes.
adjustment or dependent.
Oh my. Okay.
personality.
And I'm not kidding. I had to look it up because
What did it say?
so
'Cause that's
it
like
basically
a AA
says,
kind of thing.
yes, somebody who is dependent on other people to make every decision in their life is like basically what it sounded like and what it was. But I
And she
couldn't
doesn't
find
have
anything
that.
official because I was like, this isn't a diagnosis. Like,
yeah.
couldn't find, but that's what it said. Dependent personality disorder and major depression is what it kept coming. Well, first it said severe depression. And I was like, that's not even a
Did she?
diagnosis.
Right.
Like,
That's
major
a new
depressive, yeah.
label.
But so, and they were saying what they used to support this dependent personality disorder was because the prospective affair partner is what he was referred to, Tom,
God,
whatever.
What a horrible way to say your boyfriend. Jesus.
Yeah, said that her sons were an obstacle. So because she has this dependent personality disorder diagnosis, everything she's doing is dependent on what somebody else wants or needs. Like everything she does is dependent on them. So because he suggested that they're an
That's a
obstacle,
stretch.
I know. I was like,
Everything she does.
hold on. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then she doesn't
Yes.
meet the criteria for depression. She was not known to be crying, sleeping, worrying.
Not that we
She's
saw,
out with
right?
her friends. She's
Right.
effing the boss at work, trying to get a leg up in the world because he like lived in his parents' mansion and he was the most eligible bachelor in town.
Was that the boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you meant another person.
So
I was
everybody
like, okay.
wanted this guy, and when you see him, you'll see why not. But he had
Yeah.
money, and it sounds like her mom probably did the same thing with the stepdad pedophile, who was the stockbroker.
Right. Right.
So, you know,
Wow.
a
So
lot.
really, we're looking at the whole picture, right? Without knowing genetics, without knowing a lot of the stuff that we've mentioned, that could lead to maybe a different diagnosis, but it really sounds more like borderline personality disorder. Now,
Borderline.
granted, in 95, right, is when
Yeah,
the trial was. Would borderline personality disorder have been a diagnosis, though?
I
Right?
don't know.
It
We would
was.
have to look
I don't
and see
think
when
so.
that became a
It
thing.
wasn't in the DSM then,
Oh, well.
so it couldn't. Right? So
Well, codependent, whatever. What,
was
that's an
not a
AA.
diagnosis.
Like codependent is not a diagnosis either.
It's
you
like a
guys.
trait, right? But it's not a diagnosis. But that's right here. Dependent personality disorder.
But
She was
still-
diagnosed with that by her defense psychiatrist.
And they wouldn't let the prosecutors like hire
Correct.
their own people.
Correct.
But I do see hearing that gives me a little hope because it is still a personality disorder.
True.
So
True.
maybe that was a different name for it back then.
Yeah,
At
that's a
least-
good point. Let's see when I'm gonna Google it. Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, so this guy, Tom Finley, I wonder, we'll talk about collateral damage. Okay, so dad commits suicide. Let's see. I'm just going through my notes.
It was in the DSM.
Oh, okay.
Third edition
Oh, wow.
is
So
in
we're on
1980.
DSM-5, and that was DSM-3. So that's our diagnosing Bible that lists all the criteria that someone has to meet in order to have a diagnosis. Oh, that's interesting. So I wonder if that's what turned into borderline.
I think so. So it was introduced for the first time into the DSM-3 in 1980, but it was not an approach taken by the ICD-10 at that point. So it couldn't be coded. So like when we work with people, we give a diagnosis and it has like numbers essentially, right, connected to it. And that's how you classify like the diagnosis in the system with insurance, like however you're billing. And it wasn't given an ICD-10, probably because it was so new.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really
interesting.
used. But she was only, yeah, I mean,
22.
this was, but 14 years later, right? It probably wasn't used a ton. So maybe it was, dependent. God, I just had never heard of that.
No, me either. And I didn't see it come up. I saw adjustment disorder. I'm like, adjustment to what?
To what? Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. So where did we
Well,
leave off?
okay, so something that kept like popping into my mind, like, and maybe I missed it because I was like so focused on researching her and her history and about her. Like, what about her husband? I know they separated on and off, but like, and I know I read something that he plans to speak out against her parole.
He's going to the parole hearing. He wanted the death penalty for her.
Okay.
I
Like,
saw
can you
his-
imagine being like, that's where my head kept going. Every time I'd read something about her, I limited, and I told you this, like I had to kind of limit how much I could watch video wise. I read more of my stuff. I couldn't, because anytime the videos came up, I was like, oh, okay, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like too much for me.
Yeah.
And
It was
maybe
so
it was,
sad.
yeah, like it just after like she confessed to it, knowing that and seeing her and like kind of like you can fake. And I know a lot of people do. Like, I know she's not alone in this, but like seeing that and
It's
like,
fascinating to me though, like with all the true crime stuff, watching people lie is
Mm.
fascinating.
yeah.
And the levels that they can go to, like her getting that hysterical and just, oh my gosh. But the one I was watching when she was like pleading for help,
Mhm.
no eye contact whatsoever to the camera.
Right.
No, it's like and there were no tears.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now in our day and age, the true crime community would have known probably immediately
Okay.
because everybody just studies it so
When
much.
you are watching so many of these cases and like, yeah, over and over. Yeah. To me, it was like, because I'm not really in the true crime, like
Now you
really,
are.
now I am, but
Now you
I'm
are.
getting into it. I'm learning. So don't like come after me if I like say
If I
stuff
have
wrong or like,
feelings.
I don't know.
I have
Because it's new.
emotions.
Yeah. But I don't like, I was like, oh my God, like how evil is this person? Like,
know. And
I
then-
don't know. Just
So she's in prison. Now, I don't know how true this is. There was a Lifetime special, and it was, I wrote it down, of a cellmate who came forward and said she was Susan's cellmate.
okay.
And she was young, and she was like basically so proud of being a street person and so tough and all this stuff.
Susan was
Mm-mm.
the cellmate.
The cellmate
Okay.
was very proud of, like, nobody's taking me. She's a kid.
Okay.
And then she says basically Susan Smith completely wove her in with buying her shoes and buying her things. And then she basically became her drug mule and had to bring her pills. And that was like, now that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, I feel like you take with a grain of salt, don't you?
Yeah, well, because there's some motive to telling whatever. You got to have a good story, right? She
Yeah.
probably got paid for this
Yeah,
episode.
it was a Lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
I don't know how much
Who
vetting
knows?
they did. but
right.
According to her, she said that, and that she would sit and talk to pictures of the kids like they were real, and be like,
And she
"Oh,
hadn't drowned them alive.
right,
I don't know why I keep saying drown them alive because they have to be alive when you drown them, but it's like,
yeah, they were awake,
oh,
they were alert."
awake, alert, like,
When imagine, like, we both have and had little kids.
mhm.
You get out of the car, and kids just like sense,
Yes.
and so you probably at least the 3-year-old was crying, and she just fucking shut the fucking door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like walked away. Like I have the chills and
From her screaming, I can just imagine. Yeah. No. And claiming, so now let's go a little bit like to now, right? So up for parole. She's saying, I've changed. How have you changed? What have you done?
well, this
And
one
like,
lady,
can you change from that?
I don't give a fuck if you've changed. You're not getting out, bitch.
Right.
Sit down
Right.
and
But
shut
do you
up.
think they will?
I do not. So I
don't?
heard no, I don't think she'll get parole. There was some attorney talking about her coming up, and this guy gave out a statistic. I don't know if it's true. I didn't verify parole statistics in South Carolina. He said
You did.
I didn't. 5% of inmates get parole.
Okay.
5%.
Okay.
I don't see her being one.
Wow.
So, remember now, so from
Wow.
a prison standpoint, the warden, like her having sex with one
Mhm.
lieutenant, one captain, makes the prison look bad. The warden, even though it's not their fault, it still isn't a good
Right.
look.
Right.
So she has embarrassed the prison.
Okay.
She's using drugs in prison.
Right.
I mean, it says it's been a while, but it doesn't
Over like
matter.
15 years
Yeah.
is what they tried to say.
Right.
Look, she has, if it was that, I might have that
2010,
wrong.
it was
Oh,
her
okay.
last time she
Oh,
got
okay.
in trouble.
Okay.
So I don't give a shit. You murdered your kids. I don't care if you were taking Bible class 7 days a week, 23 hours a day. You're done.
Yeah.
And I actually, this is my sick thought. And it just hit me. I'm glad you're excited thinking you're getting parole. Because when they tell you to go
No.
fuck right off, good. I
Yeah.
just hope you're lifted up because it's been said, I don't remember where. There's so much research, you guys, so much stuff,
Mhm.
so many sources just looking. So I don't know where shit's
Right.
from. There's too much. That she told someone, I'm ready to get out. I served my time.
Mm.
No, your time
Right.
didn't even begin, sweets.
Right.
Not until you're burning in hell is when your time begins. And
And
where
how about
are
you
the
serve-
females in prison with prison justice? Why is this girl even breathing?
It's true.
Why does
It
she
is
have
true.
eyes?
Right.
Why is she walking? Why?
Well, if her cellmate, like if that stuff is true, has she been able to go in there? Not that she's the only one that's going to be manipulative who's in prison, but like, is she that good?
I mean, you have, so this goes
She's
back
like twisted
to
the
remembering that she has been sexually assaulted
Yeah.
minimally since age 15. Now, when
Mm.
a lot of victims of sexual assault, especially when it's chronic
Mm-hmm.
and acute,
Right.
and was she a victim earlier than that? Probably, possibly. You are taught by the predator to be a liar
Mm-hmm.
because you have to hide the
Right.
secret.
Anything about it.
Yeah, you can't talk about it. So there's this whole compartment of your life
Right.
that's a secret, which AKA is lying.
Yeah.
You're lying about where you were. You're lying about why something looks a certain way. So it reinforces lying behaviors,
Right.
which can become pathological.
Right.
So is she a good manipulator? She was taught to
Mhm.
manipulate by, at minimum, her stepdad.
Right. Right.
So it's in her. That's what a personality
Absolutely.
disorder is. It's interwoven like a snake. It's just in it. And she has the evil part of it. Because people have personality disorders. A lot of victims of trauma have
Right.
personality
Right.
disorders.
Yeah. It doesn't mean they're going to go out and
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're bad. And lying, when
No.
it's taught, you work on it as you get older.
Right. But you
because-
don't go murder your children.
But that ability to lie and manipulate, is she? I wonder what her status in the prison is. I don't see her being a big boss.
Right.
But
Yeah.
who
I don't
knows?
know. I don't know.
Why is she still here with us? Makes me question what her position is. You know, she's a manipulative liar.
So what happens, and this is something I don't know, but I'm guessing you do. Like, okay, she doesn't get parole, let's say,
Mhm.
right? Because chances 5%, right? Like, probably not going to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When can she try again?
I think I heard it was like there has to be a space in between.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 1 year and then she'll keep coming up then after.
So,
that.
like, every year she
Could be.
keep- or
Could be.
whatever the timeline
Yeah.
is, but it's not like
It's not immediate.
you don't get it and then
You'll never think
Right.
about like Manson. Like you go up
Okay.
for parole all the time. You remember
Right.
his hearings
Right.
where he goes, unleashed.
Right.
So yeah, she'll get to go up
And she'll just
keep getting denied.
okay.
And with her behaviors, since if it's true that she feels like she's served her debt to society,
right.
which it's not possible.
No,
It's not to me.
not at all.
Let me put this paper aside. Oh wait, hang on. I wanted to just talk about the court. So do you know how long it took them to decide if she was guilty?
2 hours? Yeah.
2.5.
Oh my
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I think the attorney's reenacting that.
Oh, had to have.
Yeah.
And then hearing 6 minutes and then the hand on the window,
Oh
like
God, the hand on the window.
hmm.
So that brought me to thinking about collateral damage, which is anybody who's had to be a part of it with or without their consent and how it
Okay.
affected them. So her husband would have collateral
Yeah.
damage. But then people often forget the first responders.
Oh yeah.
They are collateral damage. Those neighbors. But all I think about is that diver.
Mm.
Like swimming up to that window and seeing them,
Right.
and their bodies were still strapped in
Right.
but deformed from 10 days in the water,
Ugh.
so they had to have a closed casket. But all the people that had to see that. And this woman has the nerve to say, I've served my debt to society.
Yeah, like no. If anybody is still dealing with the aftermath of this, you haven't, which obviously they are, right? The
Right.
husband is still grieving his children, who he doesn't get to experience now.
Yeah.
Like,
he
so no,
remarried.
you're done.
No, you're done forever. Actually, can we get the firing squad? And I think we should have a volunteer system for the firing squad. Sorry, people who are not for the death
death
penalty.
penalty.
I am strongly for it. And I think it should be sped up. I do like, there's a part of me that likes that it's long because of
Stuff
the
can-
mental torture that you have to
Mm.
go through if they have any emotion.
Right.
But then there's another part of me that all the money that goes into housing an inmate, it's such a waste
Right.
of money.
Right.
But then that brings us to our next podcast
Mm-hmm. But
about
we'll get into
Marcellus Williams,
yeah
who, died by lethal injection last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about, like, for parole, what were the risks of parole, of her being released? Which, number one, she is completely institutionalized.
Right.
She's been in there since she was
30
22.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is her life.
She doesn't know anything other
Right.
than trading honey buns and getting money for food and manipulating. And if you weren't a manipulator when you went
Right.
into prison, you're
Right.
gonna have to become one.
Absolutely.
So what does it say?
How long until the bodies were recovered?
10 days.
10 days.
She lied. So we're talking to our YouTube live chat, just so people know what we're not looking at the wall and answering things. 10 days. She lied on the 9th day, I think, is when
she confessed.
Yeah.
And so the 10th day is when they found them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
So you were saying her getting the parole.
Yeah.
the
So when you
consequences
go
of
up
that,
for
yeah.
parole, they have to look at what have you done in prison,
Right.
which we went over, her infractions,
Right.
having, sexual
Right.
relationships with 2 staff, drug use, and self-mutilating, which is now called self-injuring.
Mm-hmm.
So she has that, and then you look at what are their risks
Right.
if they got out. And her being institutionalized, she's 50. So she's my age. She's 52. She's 53 now. Her birthday was in September, I think.
Yeah.
And then she has apparently men lined up to date.
Oh, that's great.
And one guy told her, one of her boyfriends on the outside told her she would be a great stepmom. Or she said that to him. I think I would be a great stepmom. And he said, yeah. It's like,
You want your kid's dad?
right. It's like Casey Anthony all over again.
Fuck is wrong. And I am all for, like, people growing and learning and second chances. Like, if we didn't believe that, we wouldn't be therapists, that people can change and all that. But can everybody?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I guess it would depend on your demeanor. Like, are you coming forward like, I can't take it, I did, like, any remorse?
right. Accepting, like, I cannot believe I did that, and working through that grief and regret and
Accountability.
apology. Has there ever been any?
I don't know.
I didn't see. Maybe I
No
missed it.
accountability whatsoever. In fact, trying to pin it on a black man, which caused a major upheaval and they were saying, like, in that small town of Union, South
Right.
Carolina, that was a really horrifying thing for her to do.
So for a week, they're looking for somebody that she falsely identified, this thing she created, this person, this crime that she created.
And then, like, people said the black man, the description she gave fit almost any black man. So she caused a lot of problems.
And, like, was there any remorse for that? Like, the turmoil that I put people through, and, like, when she confessed, was it like, yeah, I did this and I'm so sorry? Like, I mean, has any of that come out? So
I haven't seen any, but I think she has men waiting on the outside.
Good.
And then I'm going to test you.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I'm going to say a full sentence, and you're going to guess what the new word I learned is.
Is this sentence from her?
No,
Okay.
it's
Let's hear
from
it.
me.
It's from you.
Okay.
Tell me.
Okay. So an institutionalized female inmate whose histrionic background of hystrobophilia.
What?
What's the word?
Hystrobophilia. I don't know because I never.
You kept up with all the words.
Histrionic. I mean, I got all the other words.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Hystrobophilia?
What's my new word?
That one. What is that word? Can you say it again?
Okay.
Can I look it up? Can I cheat?
Hybristophilia. Hybristophilia. Well, actually, I think I spelled it phonetically. Let's try it. Hybristophilia. I can't
comes
believe
up.
there's a name for it. And this is our next podcast. What is it?
Is a paraphilia involving sexual interest and in and attraction to those who commit crimes. That's what we keep talking about.
There's a name!
Oh my God.
I heard them say it on one of my 6,000 things. I was like, no way. So it's for people who have a groupie obsession with dating inmates. Dating.
Being with them.
A relationship
right?
with inmates.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
attracted
what is
to
this?
people who commit crimes. Oh,
So the prison
my
groupies. How would you
gosh.
say it? Hybristophilia?
Hybristophilia. Let me see. We can have Google tell us.
Hybristophilia. I was so excited.
Hybristophilia.
Say it again.
Hybristophilia.
Marist?
Hybristophilia.
Hybristophilia.
I don't know why it sounds like
He
that.
has an accent.
Yeah.
Hybristophilia?
That's YouTube. How to pronounce that. Wow.
Isn't that? Here it is, guys. I heard it. I'm like, no way. I was calling prison groupies. But
Right.
There's actually
a name. Wow. Okay.
All right,
Well,
so
I think that's.
If you're a hybristophiliac, put it in the chat. Frida, I know you're a hybristophiliac. A philiac, right? Are you a hybristophiliac?
No.
You might be.
Secretly.
Okay, the Lifetime
No.
show is called Cellmate Secret. Susan Smith manipulates younger inmate, season 1, episode 3.
Wow.
Her name was Christy Smith. She was 20 years old.
Susan Smith and Christy Smith? Is that right?
I might have wrote it wrong. Maybe. That's what I wrote.
Wow.
Christy Smith.
Mm.
So her husband, David, he has remarried. He has 2 kids. He has had 0 contact with Susan Smith since she confessed.
Oh.
He's going to attend her hearing. So any sort of remote healing this poor man has done is going to get ripped to shreds within the next month. Well, the thought of her being free, like having to relive, it's going to all just get reopened.
Poor guy.
But it sounds like his current wife is supportive.
When you were talking collateral, like the judges even, right?
Yeah.
Like, and judges that have to keep going over these cases, the court clerks, like anybody who has to hear this stuff over and over. Granted, the divers and stuff, like first responders,
Yeah, no,
seeing
there's so
it,
many.
totally. But you just think the breadth of the impact of something like this, and I think obviously she doesn't care about that. I mean, but like how many people, the jury,
I'll tell you.
the
Okay,
like.
let me ask you. So let's say, God forbid, you had some psychotic break.
Hmm.
And let's say, okay, let's get our paper. I need a paper. We're going to write yes, no. With the same. We need our flag. Okay, I cut it in half. And you guys can answer in the chat too. So the question is going to be, if you had a psychotic break,
Okay.
and
What are
I
we
need
doing?
a pen.
What am I writing? Yes on one side, no on the other?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Will you write it for me too? I don't have a pen, girl. If you had a psychotic break, God
Can you
forbid,
even read that? They won't be able to read it. But
we will. And that's all that matters. No. You had a psychotic break.
Okay. I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
each of you, and me. If we had
Okay.
psychotic breaks, sorry, I'm doing TikTok talk. We killed our children, exact same thing. Your parole hearing came up after
Okay.
30 years. Would you go before the parole board? Would you request it or would you stay in prison? Would you want to be paroled? So would you have,
So the question is, would you want to be paroled?
yeah,
I mean, I feel like
no,
okay.
you can't talk. You just have to do your answer and then we'll discuss it.
Would you want to be paroled?
Yeah. Would
Yeah.
you want to be
Yes.
paroled? No.
I just think anybody who's in a situation like that thinks probably that they've changed or that they want to. Don't you think?
She hasn't done anything according to someone. She's done nothing.
I believe that, but I think somebody in that state doesn't have that insight or that we're speaking from sound mind. Like if you had a psychotic break and you killed your children.
I would actually request the death penalty. I would be like,
well,
can
yes,
you?
because you would never do that.
Yeah, can you just kill me?
But if you actually had a psychotic break, that's what I think, like
But
the
she
missing
didn't.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But
if
she
you
didn't even
actually
have
had a
one.
psychotic break and you did something that absolutely horrific and then came out of it and were like, what the fuck did I do? I can't believe I did that because I had a
Okay.
psychotic break. That would be different.
Okay.
She didn't actually have one.
Scrap the psychotic break. You're right, because then
Right, 'cause she
you wouldn't be clear. So let's
Yeah.
just say you killed your kids.
Okay.
Would you feel like you were worthy of being paroled?
I think that's really hard to answer because I can't even imagine. I don't even tell my kids no.
Gentle parenting.
I mean, I do tell them no for the record. They get hurt. They get told no. But you know what I mean? Like my brain, I don't know. I think in that situation, people are wired to save themselves and people are wired to get out. So I think she's going to say anything.
I just feel like for me, I would feel unworthy of breath,
Yeah.
period.
But you're speaking from a sound-minded person who would never kill their children. Right?
What
Like,
kind of human are you?
that's what I'm saying. Like, if she doesn't show remorse, she hasn't admitted, of course she's going to think she's worthy of parole
Yeah.
because she doesn't really think she
It-
did anything wrong or she thinks she
I
did
don't
something
know.
wrong.
I would love to see, and it's going to be Gypsy Rose all over again. She's going to get out.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want to talk to her, and she's going to make money off of these interviews.
The
but
best thing they can do is just ignore her.
I know,
I
but they
wish
won't.
people would. Yeah, I know.
People want to know, why did you do it? What did you learn? What are you doing? Or whoever this one of her future boyfriends was saying, it was like somehow found that he told her, well, you have $240,000. And if you divide 40,000 over 20 years,
Why does she have to?
I don't know if people are putting money on her books.
What is wrong?
Oh wait, no.
with
They
people?
said people died since she's been incarcerated, so she got some
inheritance of some sort?
property and to sell that. But yeah, I wonder if people have put money on her books. The Hebrophiliacs. What are they called?
I don't remember Hebrophiliacs. You just made up what was it?
Heberophiliac.
They're not Hebrophiliacs.
The Hebrophiliacs.
God, why can't our brains? What was it?
The hybrid.
His.
Oh God. Hebristophilia.
Hebristophilia.
The Hebristophiliacs might have put money on her books.
Oh God.
Don't put money on her books.
No.
Oh, see? Frida said she'd stay in prison. Roxy said,
Because you guys are sound-minded people. Yes.
no, Frida's not. Frida's not sound-minded.
Yeah, I mean,
Roxy is.
I get what you're saying, right? Like, obviously, if I did something that horrific, I would be like, I don't deserve to see anything. But I think if like to ever be out or to be alive even, but that's speaking from people who wouldn't do anything like that. I think if you're that fucked up and you're that, I don't even want to say mental illness because I think that gives a disservice to people who
It's not-
actually have mental
exactly.
illness.
It's evil.
It's evil.
There is a difference of evil
yes.
and
and
mental illness. They're not the same.
So I don't like.
And I hate when they do that to people with mental
I
illness.
know.
Don't do that and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, she's got PTSD. She's got the."
No.
That's not why.
That's not
you
why
killed
she
your
did it. She's an
kids.
evil person.
Yeah, she's evil. She had no psychosis, so
And that was never even used. Like it was all made up shit and just excuses really for being an
Yeah.
evil.
right. And that's what the defense does.
Yeah.
They just come up with side
Yeah.
ass shit. Thank
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
this person.
Yeah.
What?
Somebody else made a new one. Hepophiliacs. I love that. Is that what you
Roxy, she's a nurse. Hepapa?
Hepophilia.
Wait, how do you say it again? Oh God.
Histripophilias.
I'm gonna
What
get
was
this
that?
tattooed on me. Not Hipstra.
Yeah, oh my god. Why can't every time I look at it, my brain doesn't work?
You guys, come
Hib-
on, type.
Hybristophilia.
Hybrist.
HYB.
Hybristophilia.
We're gonna have to write that down somewhere and like have it up high.
There it is. Do you guys like our sign?
Oh,
Can you
and you're
see it?
live, you can't see it. Welcome. That's all you can see. Let's talk about serial. No, she's not a serial killer. We should just have one that says, "Let's talk about horrible
Assholes.
people."
Oh man. So November 4th. I'm glad you found the date.
Yeah, November 4th. So
So we'll
At least
definitely
touch on
revisit
that. Yeah.
that and see if she gets out. Thank God there's a 5%.
is it 5% just you said in South Carolina, not overall?
No.
Every state's very different depending on
Yeah.
how they
Yeah.
interesting.
Probably. I've never even heard a stat on someone's parole rate. So I was so happy this guy did that
No, that's
homework.
great.
Because
Yeah.
I was like, and you have to have a place to go and it has to be approved and all sorts of things. But
Did her mom ever come forward in any of
I don't know. I
I
know they
didn't
were
see
at
it.
the trial. They're the
Right.
ones who paid for the attorney.
Right.
Her stepdad, the ped,
yeah.
he went on the stand and told her,
Molesting,
and he was the
molesting.
head of a Christian coalition.
Yes, I saw that.
Like, and you walk around, you have legs. Why do all these people have legs? Why are they here? Where is social justice?
Yeah, and her
I'm
mom stayed
surprised.
with him. Like,
Yeah, is the mom still with him?
well, they were at the trial.
Yeah, that's true. But seems like the trial came fast. And like, did the mom know the whole time he was molesting her? The trial was only 17 days, I believe. I think it was a 17-day trial.
Well, because I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
cut and dry. You confess to doing it.
Oh, yeah,
Your
yeah.
mental health defense is super fucking weak. Like,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do, right?
17-day trial, 4 black jurors, 8 white. Which I feel like that should have been more even. Especially
But they
since,
pick it, right?
Yeah. the
So it
defense,
doesn't. I
yeah.
mean, that's
I'm just looking at
they
my notes.
probably wanted it that way because of her
Mostly
initial
white.
story, trying
Yeah.
to peg it on somebody, right?
No, I feel like it should have been. There were only 4 black people and
Is
8
your-
white.
Yeah. So they probably wanted less black people because.
Oh, the defense.
Mhm.
Yeah. that
right.
makes
Like that
sense.
was the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Susan Smith, 30 years in prison.
They like our sign.
Hmm?
They like our sign.
You like it? Yay! All right.
Awesome.
Good
Okay.
stash.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I need some vodka.
Okay. We'll make one. We'll go make one.
We'll make one vodka.
One vodka. Straight vodka. It's fine.
Love you, girlies. Bye. Thanks for being in here. Appreciate you. We don't know how to do any of this. Oh, hey, Britt. we're gonna end this one. We're gonna record another one, so we'll be back in a little bit. Thank you, girls, for being here.